So who have been the best Championship players this season for every single height range? Let's find out. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be going from 5'6" to 6'6" to find out statistically who has been the best Championship player of that height so far this season. As always, if you do go to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. If we could hit 300 likes on today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Also, do stick around and subscribe for a bit of regular Championship content, always massively appreciated. Check out the Patreon, link to that is down below. But without any further ado, let's jump into this one. So to pick each player, we're going off their average who scored match rating throughout the season so far, starting out at 5'6", and it's Sheffield Wednesday's Barry Bannon with an average match rating of 6.88 so far this season. Now, Bannon's an interesting one. I certainly think that lately he's actually put in a really strong handful of performances for Wednesday, and I know that that penalty miss against Bristol City could be really decisive come the end of the season, you know, should Wednesday go down by a couple of points. But if you look at someone in the middle of the pitch who's dictating things, still has an abundance of quality about his play, and actually still looks like someone who cares, you know, you can see him barking instructions out at the players and things like that. If the worst is to happen and they do get relegated, Barry Bannon's surely going to be snatched up by another Championship club because he still has so much to offer at this level for me. 5'7", Emmy Buendia coming in with a 7.78 average match rating. Buendia this season has absolutely blown all his competition out the water with 13 goals and 15 assists. He is, for me at least, I think the player of this season. You know, you can have some other contenders that are thrown in there. You know, Ivan Toney, I'm sure, will run him close. But in terms of the overall package this season, Emmy Buendia has been absolutely marvellous. 14 man of the match performances throughout the season so far. Absolutely staggering numbers which he's been able to come up with. And I mean, I was surprised that Norwich were able to keep him coming down to the Championship this season. If they're able to keep him next season in the Premier League, they'll have, you know, gone one better, because surely there's going to be an abundance of interest in the playmaker again. It's one of the best individual seasons that we've ever seen from a Championship player, and deservedly so has his promotion back up to the Premier League. 5'8", Adam Armstrong. I think a lot of the people that we're going to talk about on today's video are going to be very in-demand players when it rolls around to the summer transfer window, but coming in with an average match rating of 7 on the dot so far this season with 21 goals and 4 assists. He's been one of the most prolific strikers in the Championship so far this season. Armstrong, a little bit different to some of the other higher scorers this season. He's had a couple of sort of barren patches throughout the season. I know he struggled with that injury not too long ago, but has since got himself back up and going again. Blackburn will be put in an interesting position in the summer whereby, do they now cash in on Armstrong and look to reinvest that money into some different areas into the squad, or do they do absolutely everything they can to keep hold of him? I'm not so sure. 5'9" goes to Swansea City's Andre Ayew, coming in with an average match rating of 7.16 so far this season. I think I can say with some confidence that Swansea wouldn't be in the position that they are now had they not had Ayew in the squad this season. He scored 15 goals for them, but the amount of decisive moments when he stepped up with a goal or an assist here, he is one of the few sort of attacking players in the Championship who still has that real Premier League quality about him, and I think that still comes through with a lot of his performances this season. 5'10" goes to Brentford's Ivan Toney. Now, if there's going to be anyone that gives Emmy Buendia a run for their money in terms of the Championship player of the season, it's of course going to be Ivan Toney, and he has put up some abnormally good numbers for a Championship striker having his first proper season at this level since making the move over from Peterborough. Has scored 29 goals and got 10 assists this season in the Championship, as well as 10 man of the match performances to go along with it. He has the best goal conversion rate of any of the other strikers playing in the Championship at the moment, with a 30% conversion rate. Brentford have had a history of having some wonderfully gifted strikers, but in terms of the numbers that Tony's putting up right now, he's blowing all the rest of them out of the water. 5'11" goes to Norwich's Teemu Pukki, coming in with an average match rating of 7.06. Now, there were some suggestions at the start of the season that, you know, would Teemu Pukki be the sort of same player that he was last time round in the Championship, or was that just a bit of a freak season? Well, I think that Pukki has completely put all those doubters to bed, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what he can do next season for Norwich in the Premier League. But with 25 goals and 4 assists to his name, he's been one of the most prolific strikers we've ever seen at this level, actually, with his 2 seasons in the Championship. One of the best bargains of all time, Norwich picking him up on a free. 6 foot goes to Reading's Ovie Ejaria. Now, he's a really interesting one because when you look at like his goals and assists output, he's not someone who you look at and say, oh my god, he's got like amazing numbers in the Championship, but he's someone who you sort sort of need to watch over a full 90 minutes with your eye to really fully appreciate how good he actually is. So far this season he's got 3 goals, 5 assists. He's matched his tally from last season, but the stat which most does Ajaria justice is the amount of dribbles he completes per 90, 2.7, which is more than any other championship player so far this season. The next closest to him is Danjuma, who completes 1.9 dribbles per 90, so he's way out in front when it comes to that category. 6'1" goes to Millwall Sean Hutchinson, coming in with an average match rating of 7.15 with 5 man of the match performances for Millwall so far this season. Really strong aerially, winning 4.8 aerial duels per 90, and sort of epitomises how good Millwall have actually been defensively this season, especially in the second half of the season. You know, it's something that we picked out on the channel recently. That defensive stability that Millwall have been built upon under Gary Rowett so far has really returned. Just that extra bit of edge they need in the attacking third, and Millwall could really be a force. 6'2" goes for Norwich City's Grant Hanley. Now, for Norwich this season, the majority of plaudits we've sort of given them have been in their attacking third, but Grant Hanley has been an absolute rock at the back for them so far this season, and in times where they've had like other injuries and stuff like that and absentees at the back, Hanley really has been that anchor that's held things down for them. With an average match rating of 7.22 so far this season, I think he's been just as vital as some of their more attacking players in Norwich's return to the Premier League. 6'3" then goes for Barnsley's Mikhail Halek. Now, another example of Barnsley's fantastic recruitment. This season, Halek has really used his height to his advantage, winning a massive 6 aerial duels per 90 on average. He's had 6 man of the match performances, scored 5 goals for Barnsley, a real nuisance in the opposition's box. But one thing that was always sort of like criticised with Barnsley last season was their defensive instability. You know, they were great to watch going forward at times last season, but defensively they were absolutely all over the place. I remember North End putting 5 goals past them when they came to Deepdale last season, but this season both their sort of defensive structure and the personnel who they got playing at the back have improved absolutely massively. 6'4" goes to Sean Morrison, maybe a little bit of a surprising one, but he comes out really well with the statistics so far this season with an average match rating of 7.18. He's been a really solid member of this Cardiff squad so far this season, who have had certainly like their ups and downs throughout the season, I think it's fair to say, but another defender who's a real nuisance in the opposition's box, scoring 5 goals and picking up a couple of assists for himself so far this season. Whenever Preston go up against Morrison, he always seems to play an absolute blinder against us, and I don't know why, but we always seem to play into his hands by knocking it long, because if you do that, Morrison's in his absolute element. Going up, you know, for that physical challenge with strikers, he absolutely thrives in that area. When we talk about strikers who love a physical battle though, coming in next for 6'5" is also a Cardiff player. It's Kiefer Moore. Now, he has been absolutely outrageously good at winning aerial duels so far this season, winning 10.8 on average per 90. To put that into context with the rest of the championship, the next best players that we're looking at are all in the 7s. So for Kiefer Moore to be winning 10.8, 1, shows that Cardiff like to lump it long to him quite a bit, but 2, that he's also winning a lot of those duels. But he has been fantastic. 18 goals and an assist so far this season, 11 man of the match performances with an average match rating of 7.58. Statistically, that match rating has Kiefer Moore as the 2nd highest performing championship player so far this season, just behind Emmy Buendia. And then 6'6" goes for Stoke City's Harry Souttar, coming in with 6 man of the match performances and an average match rating of 7.14. Now, Stoke's season has sort of had to have been built on defensive stability. At the start of the season, they were looking like maybe this quite exciting outfit going forward, you know, with Tyrese Campbell really lighting things up. But after his injury, they really needed that defence to stand strong to ensure they were just able to grind out these matches when their attacking third of players were sort of still figuring themselves out. I know that Nick Powell and Fletcher have been brilliant for them in the second half of the season, but defensively has been their real strong suit this season, and Souttar has definitely contributed to that. Another absolute mountain of a man. He did actually get sent off in his last game against North End, but realistically took one for the team there as Alan Brown was going through on goal. Massive future ahead of him at only 22 years old. But guys, there we have it. There was every championship player from 5'6" to 6'6", and who's been the best player in the championship this season for that height range. Agree or disagree? Let me know down below. Well, apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for today's video. As always, if you did go on to enjoy it, make sure to leave a like. Check out the Patreon link, that is down below. But apart from that, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.